Hello everyone. This video will be a demonstration of the modified contour drawing. Alright, so you're going to need, in the exercise it talks about using a 2B or an HB pencil. For the video's demonstration, just so you can see what I'm actually drawing, I'm going to use a 4B pencil instead because it's just a little bit darker. You also need your eraser and your sharpener. Okay, so I just got done sharpening my pencil, so that should be ready to go. Alright, I'm going to use the same pose that I used for my blind contour line drawing, so whatever pose that you used for yours, you want to use that. The reason why you want to use the same pose is because your brain is already accustomed and has had an opportunity to draw from that pose before, so it's familiar with it. The difference in the modified contour line drawing is you get to actually see your progression and you can assess your drawing because you're actually seeing what you're drawing now. Some things are going to happen because you can see what's going on. Some of you will feel that you can speed things up. What you're going to find is when you speed things up, you'll start to generalize information. You'll start drawing what you think you see. So I highly recommend that as you're hyper concentrating on your subject matter, that you're telling yourself, hey dude, you need to slow down. And not only are you slowing down, you're going to capture those little details along the way as you're describing your subject matter. This will actually look more photoreal. Now some of you in your blind contour line drawings may have really just focused on the outline or the outside line that describes this shape. Well, you also want to describe the interior with the contour lines so that you get away from a silhouette or just the outline. Okay, so by combining both outline and contour line, you can get this to look more like the illusion here on your paper's surface. Alright, you'll be starting in a similar manner, and I'll show you that as I start to draw, my pencil will always be in contact with the paper's surface, so I never lose my spot. So in case I gotta move my hand away and shake it out, I'll always know where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I want to kind of go down here in the center of my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I want my pencil tip to move at the same speed that my eyes. So what I'm seeing is what I'm describing. So I'm going into the palm. I'm having that line go with the cupping, so as it goes up and it goes down into this dip, and I come back, rounding down at the bottom of the palm, nice and slow, looking at how this just isn't a straight line. It has some swollenness to it. There's roundness to it. One thing I want to point out is you guys are looking from straight down. I'm kind of looking from this angle, okay? So what I'm seeing will be slightly different in what I'm drawing than what you're seeing from straight down. So I just want to give you heads up about that, because you might be thinking he's not drawing what he's seeing. And the only thing is that my eyes are back here and I'm looking kind of down at an angle as opposed to straight down. So just FYI. Alright, coming down into the wrist area, looking at how those lines or my creases in my skin round around my wrist. Around my wrist down here, that kind of peters out, come up in here, so these are the interior contour lines. They're going to help break up the interior of this form. Again, you notice my pencil is always in contact with my paper. A couple things you want to consider: that as you're looking, look again, then draw. Don't always draw more than you're actually looking. Remember, here you're honing your observation skills while you're actually starting to describe this. So the more time that you're spending observing and really looking at, oh, that crease in my hand does that. No, not that. You're actually taking a little moment, you're smelling the roses and looking at what actually is going on. So just keep that in mind. That I know there's a lot of things you got to think about now, but as a consideration, just looking for those nuances. All right. Just kind of up in this thumb area. I'm now just kind of looking at my girth. You notice that I'm working a little bit bigger than life size, but I want you guys to work at least life size or bigger. You're going to find that when you do little tiny credit card size drawings, they're really difficult to draw and to get all those details in. When you start working large, you have more space to negotiate these details in, and it just makes the drawing a little bit more pleasant and easier to do. All right, coming into the thumb. I kind of I don't like that. Let me tweak this. That's another thing that you'll find, that when you're moving a little bit slower, you'll actually catch things getting out of proportion or the direction that you're trying to draw it. But again, the point is that you're paying attention. You're seeing that start to get away from you. There's my fingernail. So I'm going to come down into the palm again. There's my other lifeline. Start coming up into the top of the palm. Into my index finger, the bottom of it. You notice that my fingers taper towards the tips. So they're real, I mean, I have sausage fingers, but they're going to be a lot more girth down here, and as they get towards the tips, they'll taper, they'll get narrower. Alright, so there's my index finger. Alright, I'm going to come back down in here. I notice just a couple more lines in here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go over to the middle finger. So here's the top of the palm and where it connects into it. Alright, I notice right here, this is a little bit lower than this one. So I just want to tell myself, hey, before you get up here, just remember this is a little bit higher. And then the one above it is also just a little bit higher than this one. And remember, your fingers will have a sense of hierarchy. I'm going to make just a little bit more of a V in here. Just looking at that, just noticing it. So I notice the gap here is a little bit wider than it is down here. So there's that. Alright, so I hope that you're starting to see that as I'm drawing, I'm drawing slow. I won't finish this because I'm sure that this is starting to get a little tedious to watch. But the point I want to make is that you're hyper concentrating on this subject matter. You're having your optical experience, but now with the added feature that you can assess and see what you're actually drawing and diagnosing. And the hope is, since you're not drawing blindly, that this should have more details. The details should be placed in the specific places where they should be. Where you probably saw in blind contour, it was just an absolute ridiculous mess of maybe stacks of carrots or mountain ranges, or I don't know, like the mob visited you and beat your hand to mush. But whatever. What I'm trying to say is that here you can see what's going on here, and as you start to describe it, you can organize these lines a lot more better so that they look like this object. And so then the choices that you're making, the slow descriptive pursuit, and then with practice you become more fluent in the language of drawing and describing something on a flat surface paper. So you're converting this three-dimensional object to an illusion of a three-dimensional object on a flat 2D surface. Okay? So that's the modified contour line drawing. It's a lot, I think it's easier to do than the blind contour. It definitely takes a little bit longer to do because you're seeing what's happening. You can always go back and change things if you don't like how things are going, and reassert them. And get them to work, actually how they look here. So for what it's worth, you're practicing this, you're experimenting, and you're learning how to do this. So don't feel that you're only going to do 2 of these and then turn them in. Take the time to practice. Alright? Experiment. You don't have to do the whole hand the first couple times as you're practicing it or sketching it. Do a couple, maybe just small areas. Deal with it. Then go take a break. Come back with new, fresh eyes. Kind of maybe you've had a snack and stuff, you feel better. Try it again. Then try it again. Alright? It's something that you just keep coming back to and practicing. And each time you practice it, it gets that much better. You become more and more fluent. Alright guys, so that's the video. I hope the demonstration was helpful and insightful. See you later.